For the last 10 months, in a unique project, this once deserted farm has been brought back to life, as it would have been in the 1880s.
Gee up!
Ruth Goodman, Peter Ginn, and Alex Langlands have been living the lives of Victorian farmers, from the depths of winter to the warmth of summer, turning the clock back to rediscover an age gone by. They've restored the farm under the watchful eye of their landlord, Thomas Stackhouse Acton.
I think it's slightly tilted.
And experienced life without modern conveniences.
Bathing in a room with no central heating. It's pretty cold.
Successfully bred Victorian breeds of poultry, sheep,
Two friends, look at those.
cattle and pigs.
They're all a little curious and fluffy and cute and cuddly.
But the dreadful June weather devastated the hay harvest.
It's not cutting, is it?
No, it's not.
It's so wet as well. I mean, look, Peter's wringing it out there.
For the Victorian farmer, this is a disaster, leaving him no hay store to feed the animals over winter.
Rain, 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 rain. Let's hope it doesn't affect the wheat, eh?
Now it's late summer, and the year-long project is almost at an end. But first, the team faces their biggest challenge yet, the wheat harvest. Only a bumper wheat crop can offset the failure of the hay harvest. First, they must make some urgent repairs to their cart.
Water.
Then get to grips with cutting-edge technology, Victorian style.
We've had a blockage, and Brian's just going around the machine to try and work out what it is.
But most importantly, they need a break in the rain.
We've only got a very small window between now and when those clouds come over.
A failed wheat crop could mean the workhouse for a Victorian farmer. It's early July. The wheat was planted back in September and has survived the harsh winter weather, as well as attacks by pheasants and rabbits. Now it needs to ripen from green to the familiar golden colour.
Wow, this is amazing. This really is. It's a bit of a dream come true, this. This is actually probably better than I expected. But with harvest maybe 4 to 6 weeks away, weather depending, we've still got so many things that could go wrong. If we don't get the harvest right, we cut it too late, it's too dry. You know, if we cut it too soon, it's too green, it won't thresh. Fingers crossed, I'll get it right and I won't look like too much of an idiot.
If it's harvested at the right time, the wheat grain from the heads will be sold to make flour for bread. But wheat must be dry before it can be cut. If rain delays the harvest, all it will be fit for is animal feed. This acre of wheat would take our farmers a week of back-breaking work to harvest by hand. But in the 1880s came this, the horse-drawn reaper binder. As its name suggests, it not only cuts the wheat, but binds it into sheaves too, harvesting an acre in as little as an hour.
What a contraption. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like something out of a Wallace and Gromit movie, isn't it? All these gadgets and levers and wheels and cogs.
What, the cutting face down there, the
Yep.
blade's going across, so it takes the wheat up and spits it out the other side, bound somehow.
So this is the real labour-saving device. It means that we don't have to run around the field, bunching all this stuff up and tying it ourselves.
Putting this Victorian contraption back in action is going to be no mean feat. So local farmer Mr. Thomas and his son Brian have offered to help.
Now, you've used one of these, haven't you?
Yeah, my father had.
Yes, I've used one of these several years, and with horses.
With horses?
Oh yes, 1936 when I started using one like. And we went on into the
50s.
Yes.
Winding her down into her working position, approximately. Keep going till them wheels is off the ground.
That's it, yeah, you're going down now, lovely. She's quite heavy, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Do you prefer working with horses or tractors?
Oh, it's a lot easier with tractors.
Was it?
It was. Yeah, we get on the seat and ride all day.
So what's the next job then?
We're going to put the knife in now. Alex will bring him round to us, we'll pop him in.
Be very careful of that, it's sharp.
Right. Right, so we're ready to cut now, are we?
No. Got to get the string in.
We've got to have the string in and thread it through the needle and through the knocker.
String's in here.
Yes.
And it's got to end up where Alex is.
This ingenious knotter ties the cut wheat into bundles.
There, exactly, yes.
Invented in 1857 by an 18-year-old Wisconsin farmhand, it was a revolutionary breakthrough.
Have you done this job before, Peter, or not?
No, I've never done this before.
Well, you're quite a professional at it. I think you seem to have got this completely under control.
So I think I might need to pass over to you, Alex.
Yes,
Okay.
Alex, yes, lift the hatch and just get down in there.
You'll see it coming through there now, Alec.
Can you
Set that hole
I
there.
see that?
Hatch up.
Yeah,
You've got
I've
the
got
hatch
that.
up.
Right, okay.
And it's basically like a giant sewing machine, this
That's
mechanism,
right.
here, isn't it?
This is the most complicated
Yes.
part of the whole procedure.
Right. Pull a bit more out, Shirley. You haven't got enough through.
A little bit more there.
That's better.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold it tight.
And Peter's going to turn over manually just to check
Yes.
if it
Right.
works okay.
Here it comes.
Yes. Oh, no.
Oh no.
No, it's clear.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem there, Peter.
Let's try it again then. Let's pull that.
It shouldn't make any difference. No.
When was this machine last used? Have you any idea?
Maybe we should try it then with a.
Yes.
You think with a sheave?
Yeah, I should put the straw in it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Shave.
Right on there. Right. Basically. Yes, ready to go.
Yes.
Yes, she tied it, yes.
And we have a shove tied.
Yes.
Look.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Look at
Oh,
that.
knot it up properly, see?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That is going to save us an enormous amount of time.
Really good.
So is it good to see this working again after so many years?
Oh, yes. It's very nice to see it working, like the boy said. Yes. But I wouldn't like to go out and work with it all day now.
No.
Straw, the stem of the wheat plant, will be a byproduct of the harvest once the valuable grain is removed. Ruth is keen to put it to good use. Local craft expert Anne Dyer is visiting the farm to teach Ruth straw plaiting.
Hello!
Hello.
How to meet you.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I see you brought straw.
Yes.
Most of my female ancestors, if you go back into the Victorian period, were straw platters. The men were labourers and the women were
Well, it
straw
should be in
platters.
your hands, my dear.
Oh, I hope so.
I've started a bit because it's easier to plait once it's begun. And you know it has to be kept slightly damp.
No,
Otherwise
I
it'll
didn't.
crack.
Oh, right.
And when
okay.
look how pliable that is.
And that doesn't make it rot then, just being
Nope.
wet all the time?
Well, think of the English weather.
Yeah, that is a point.
Now, you've got 7 straws. So you've got 4 on one side and 3 on the other. And you're going to keep moving one to the other side, and whichever side you've got most on is the side you plait from. So it's easy, you can't lose yourself.
I bet I can. Oh, you made it look so easy. Hang on.
Ah, well, it's a few hundred miles of plaiting. It improves the thing. That's right. Now keep them at right angles.
This is addictive. You don't have to do this sitting down, do
No,
you?
no. A bag on one arm to put the finished plait in, and your bundle of damp straws under your arm.
And you can go walkabout.
Yeah.
So you get these groups of young women behaving just like teenage gangs on street corners do today, intimidating everybody who walks past. And nobody could really shout at them because they were earning good money. They were working.
When you've got your 50-yard bundle, and you can sell it.
Sell it.
And you've got money for the groceries. Now you know how to plait, you know how to sew, so you know everything you need.
Everything I
And
need.
brought my husband's hat.
Oh my
to
goodness.
see.
So a hat is just like, it's just a spiral of
Yeah.
straw, plait.
And then you sew it as you go.
So you're not moulding it over anything, you're just bending it in
No.
your hands.
And a skilled person would get a perfect shape.
I thought there was all sorts of clever machinery. So how much of this do I have to make before I can make a hat?
Depends how big the hat is, of course. But just a nice little small one, probably about 15 yards, 20 yards.
15 yards for a small hat.
Yeah.
And I've done 3 inches.
Yes.
I really want to have a real proper go at this. We've got all this straw out in the field. There's no excuse.
Yes. Yes.
To carry the harvested wheat from the field, the Victorian farmers need a cart, or dray. But theirs has lain unused for decades, and Peter is unsure of the condition of its wheels. So he's visiting Mike Wright, the wheelwright, for advice.
How are you?
Hello, Peter.
We've got a wheat harvest that we want to bring in, and for that we're going to use our dray. But I've had a look at it and the wheels are a bit wobbly. I was wondering if you could come as a wheelwright and cast your expert eye over it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know so little about wheelwrighting. I'd love a quick sort of demonstration, actually.
All right, yes. Well, obviously we start with the hub and work outwards to the spokes and the fellies, which are the wooden rim around the side.
Right.
The hub is made of elm because elm's got a very twisted grain and it doesn't split easily when the spokes are driven into it.
Right, okay.
The spokes are made of oak for strength.
Yeah, so all the power of the wheel, the weight is just transferred down the grain.
Yeah. The rim of the wheel, or felloes as they're called.
Fellows,
yeah,
right.
They're made of ash. So there's 3 different woods. You've got elm, oak and ash.
Ash is quite flexible, isn't it?
That's the reason that it's used. It takes the shocks of the road better than anything else. Once we've got that on, we've got to make sure all these tongues are engaged.
Right.
And then tap them up gradually all the way around, close all the joints.
Well, this looks pretty complete as a wheel, but you don't use glue or nails, so how do you hold it all together?
Well, we hold it together with the metal tyre that goes around the outside.
Right.
This is made smaller than the wheel.
Okay.
And it's normally heated to red hot so that it expands sufficiently to go over the wheel, and then cooled quickly so that it shrinks and pulls all the joints up tight and holds the whole wheel under tension. And
so this would be red hot as it was going on?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it would start to cool?
Yeah, and draw these joints up tight.
And there we have a wheel.
Yeah, and you can see it's quite...
And that tyre really ties it all together, doesn't it?
That's right, it's a very effective way of clamping up the whole wheel.
I have to say, on our dray, there's a bit of a gap, actually. It's not as tight as this, so it might be the tyre that's a problem. That's it.
It's a bit, actually, we need to lift it a bit more, really, but that'll do it. This one, the tyre is a little bit loose, so I think we need to take that one off and re-tyre it.
Yeah, the last thing we want is our dray to fall apart.
As the year on the farm draws to a close, Ruth is keen to try something different in the Victorian kitchen.
Curries were really popular in Victorian Britain. All the recipe books are full of them. Indeed, the first curry house was opened in London in 1811. This one calls for powdered ginger, turmeric and cayenne pepper, all of which were relatively cheap. So now I've coated the chicken pieces in my curry powder, my mix of spices. They're to be browned or fried in butter, along with lots of onion and garlic. I'm just popping the chicken into the melted butter, and I shall brown those off. Right, back on the stove. And you find recipes in Mrs. Beeton, in Mrs. Rundle, Eliza Acton, and also the Family Save All, using leftovers, using a huge variety of meats, fish, even curried eggs. They're nice, I like curried eggs. Curries are also one of the few times in which the Victorian recipes include garlic. It's only supposed to be the 1 clove, so let's make the most of it. Right, I've got my stock pot here. I've just got some chicken stock and just go straight in. These are the onions that have been cooked through, browned off in the rest of the butter and spices. And they go in too. And then pop in my marrow. And this is all going to stew down now for about 45 minutes to an hour. And it'll reduce as it does, so that the stock combining with the spices will make the sauce.
This is our dray tyre. Just taking it round.